Hey Underdogs, it's Stacy from Underdog Wellness, and today we're doing a video for a roller. So one of these big foam rollers. Yours does not have to be 36 inches long. It can be shorter, so some people have those ones that are about half this size. Totally fine. But I was asked to do a rolling video, so we're gonna do that today. It's gonna be total body and it's gonna be in real time. So it's not like you have to pause because we did one whole side and then you have to pause the video and do it all again. It will be in real time, okay? So we're gonna start with our feet. I might be out of frame for this, but that's where we wanna start. We're gonna put the roller on the floor and we put our foot, just one foot on, and you're just gonna roll and really try to push into your roller. Rollers have different densities, so mine is a pretty soft one, so it has a lot of give underneath my feet here. But you might have one that's really, really firm, and so it's getting into the fascia inside those feet. And I like to just roll my foot kind of side to side, so it's kind of getting everything. And then we'll do the other side. And if you roll regularly, I at one point in my life was rolling on a pretty regular basis, about 2 or 3 times a week. I really did notice the difference with flexibility, and the rolling got easier. So things that are challenging at first get much, much easier. Okay, so we started with our feet. We're gonna do the back side now. We're gonna do the front side of the body. That's where we wanna start. So you're gonna take your roller onto your mat or your floor. If you've got carpeting, you're good to go. It is gonna require a little bit of ab work. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our shins on the roller. So you come down to your elbows and you're gonna roll from knee, use your arms to kind of pull up to your ankles. We never wanna roll over a joint. So you're just gonna go back and forth. Just where you've got meat, joint to joint. Now you can start to lean to one side if you want to and get a little bit deeper into that shin. And same thing on the other side. If that's too much, if you find that that's just too much, you can always kind of use your leg to kind of assist, but ideally you want to have as much weight going into that muscle as you can. And again, sometimes you have to build up to that. From there, we're going to go into the calves, or sorry, the quads. Now if you see, I have kind of a loose shirt, and I kind of wore this on purpose because I wanted to demonstrate. Watch out for hair, pants, and loose. So if you have anything that's loose when you're rolling, you have to be careful. So all I'm gonna do is just kind of tighten this up and tuck it in so it's no longer loose. That's why I have my hair up too, because you can get caught in your roller. It's happened to me before. So for the quads, same thing as before. You come down. This one's a little bit easier because you have your weight more evenly distributed, there we go. And we're going again, pelvis to knee. Now as you go back and forth, especially with these bigger muscles like the quads and the hamstrings especially, you may find that you have a really tender area, tender spot. I like to call that a hot spot. It's not a technical term, it's just what I started coining it. I'm probably not the only person that has called it that. So as you go back and forth and you start to figure out where those hot spots are, you're gonna slowly stop on those areas, and you're gonna either just stay in that one spot and just let yourself be heavy, or you're going to make it a little teeny roll back and forth on that area. And that's gonna help to kind of work that out. It sometimes does not feel good. Sometimes it can be downright painful. So you just wanna know your body. If it's so painful that you can't breathe, I would say back off and maybe, see a physical therapist or see your doctor or somebody, because maybe there's something else going on there. Never roll on a bruise. If you've got any broken skin or anything, wait till that heals, okay? But for the most part, rolling feels pretty good. Even when it hurts, you still you get that feeling that, ooh, I think I really need this. Back and forth. Okay. So then from there, we've done all of our, from the waist down, we're gonna take it to inner thighs. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the roller lengthwise, come down onto the elbow again, filming, and we're gonna go from knee to hip. Family's trying to get in. And that's it. So you just kind of use those elbows and see how my toes right there are curled under, and go a little back and forth. Inner thigh can be extremely painful. You'll probably hear me say that about just about every body part. And I like to go all the way up to the pelvis and really get in there. Okay, so then I'm going to do the other side. So again, if you're doing this in real time, you can do this with me. Now, I like to lengthen my leg all the way out so it's straight, but you can also, see right there, you can also do it where the lever is a little bit shorter and you can bend your knee and just do the inner thigh there. I've kind of worked up to, I like the long leg. It makes it a little bit more intense and I prefer that. But again, do what works for you. If you can't breathe and you can't roll, it doesn't really do you much good. So find what's going to work for you, what you can maintain. And over time it will get easier. Okay, so that's the inner thigh. Then what we're going to do, we're going to stick with the front of the body. So we're going to roll the pectorals. For a lot of people, they're able to lay down on it and just kind of roll back and forth. For me, I just find it very awkward. So you're kind of here and you're kind of trying to roll, and I find it awkward. I prefer to treat it like a rolling pin, and I just like to put it right along here and just roll towards the chest and back and forth. This one can be pretty tough, and you can kind of work different angles like that, and you just kind of work that. There's a lot of muscle in this armpit area underneath the breast tissue. All of that is your pectorals. So we don't generally roll the breast itself. If you're a man, you could roll, that's a lot of tissue. But for a woman, it's pretty much just through here, through the armpit, that you're gonna roll. And you can rock it side to side like that and roll down. And usually that's pretty intense. All right, other side. And you don't have to stay forever on any of these points. This is great to do after a workout. And if you can do this again, like I said, at least twice a week. If you can do it more than that, it's a great thing once you know what you're rolling and what you're feeling for. You can do this easily by watching TV. You could be on a carpeted area, spending time with your family, but just rolling yourself out, which is kind of nice. Okay, so we did the whole front. What we're gonna do now is the back of the body. So we're gonna have it the short way again. We've got our calves on it. Same thing as before, the shins, we're gonna go ankle to knee. We just lift ourselves up on those hands. Again, it becomes a little bit of an ab workout. And you can kind of drop your bottom and go back and forth if you wanna, especially if you've got really long calves. So once you've done it kind of straight on where your toes face the ceiling, then I like to kind of cross, I tilt it to the side, so I'm getting the medius part of the calf, then I like to cross one over the other and get in there. And it makes it a little bit more intense, but my calves are really tight. I feel like I need that. Other side, I'm gonna cross over. And then I felt hot spots, so I'm gonna, instead of my toes facing the ceiling, I'm gonna roll them both out. I'm gonna find the hot spots, which are pretty much the same in both areas, or both calves. And I'm just gonna kind of put extra pressure on that. And then we release. Then we go into the hamstrings. So again, it's a little bit easier because your body is a little bit more balanced weight-wise. But it's the same as when you do all the other areas. You're looking for the hot spot. But do a few full rolls all the way up and down when you get started. And then once you kind of find that hot spot, you're gonna stay there and just kind of either just play with it real small like that or just let it be really heavy. And there you go. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the glutes. So I like to, again, always start kind of head on. So I'm just gonna roll straight. we'll do is we'll cross one leg over the other. We're gonna lean into that side. So this side's lifting up a little bit. We're gonna lean, so it's a little more hip, glute, piriformis, that general area. For some people, this can be pretty intense. We hold a lot of tension, believe it or not, in the buttocks. It's one of the biggest muscles, and it works a lot. And then you can do a little side to side too, getting into that hip a little bit more, that glute medius. And you can kind of go back and forth almost like a little figure 8 or a little circle. All right, going to the other side, we're gonna cross over, tilt that way a little bit so you can maybe see a little bit better. And just start by rolling. And then I'm gonna kind of dip it down and around as I go. So it's getting rolled in many different directions. Okay. Everyone's least favorite is the IT band right through here. If you have a really heavy, firm, usually they're black, roller, it can be pretty intense. A lot of times these that are made out of this stuff tend to have more give. They're usually white or this pink color. They're a little bit more forgiving, but either way, this does not tickle. We're gonna put the thigh on there. You can keep a foot down in front or in back. It's really personal preference. I like to keep mine in back. And you're gonna try and lean on that side. Actually, now I think I'm gonna go front today. Lean on that side and roll. But it's pretty intense, especially the higher you get to the hip. This might be the one that causes you not to be able to breathe. And you use whatever you can. If you need to put that foot down too and use those toes, go back and forth. Eventually, when people get really good at this, which I am not, I haven't done this regularly in quite a while, but some people can end up putting the top foot on top of the other one and just roll the whole thing. That is way too intense for me. So again, don't do it unless you're good with it. I'm gonna try and go a little bit lower here. And there we are. Okay. So that we're even, I'll do the other side, so I don't mean to turn my back on you, but, so elbows down, and I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna put that foot in front. And you just gotta play with this. With one leg, I like it in front, one leg, I prefer it in back. And we'll scooch. And there we go. Okay. The last, but not least, and my favorite, is the back. Same thing, I'm still gonna keep my shirt tucked in because, again, you can really roll your shirt up in your roller, so you want your stuff to be pretty tight fitting or tucked into your pants. We're gonna start with the roller at about the mid-back. Hands are gonna stack. We want hand on top of hand. We don't wanna do this like finger, this little thingy here. Hand on top of hand. Really support the neck, elbows wide. So we're gonna lift our bottom and we're gonna roll. You just roll forward, so my bottom is nice and high and I roll right up to my neck. Then I'm gonna go the other way, and as I get into my lower back, you can use your feet to walk back. My head is really high here. Again, your abs feel like they're getting a little bit of a workout, but that's not the point. The point is to roll the entire spine. This should feel good. Some people get a lot of crack, 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 cracking and popping as they do this. And then we'll stop right about there when it's close to the neck. Once that happens, we're gonna let the legs go nice and long. And we wanna have the roller where it's at the base of the skull, so you don't wanna feel like your head is way back here, okay? And we don't wanna feel like, you know, our neck's not on the roller. We want the neck on the roller. Arms can come to a T or on our belly or whatever works for you. But let's push the head into the roller as we rock the head to each side. So rocking and rolling. Keep putting pressure. It feels like a nice little massage for the base of the skull. And then come back to center so you're nice and centered, and imagine your nose is like a pencil and just draw little tiny circles on the ceiling. It's subtle, but I think it feels really good. And then reverse the circle. And that's it. That is your rolling. If you do that again 2 to 3 times a week on a regular basis, you should start to feel muscles loosen up. You might feel that you're a little bit more flexible. Things that were tight, like just more range of motion too as you're doing things. Like maybe you play tennis or you play some kind of a sport, you might find that you're a little bit more flexible. This, of course, is not meant to be any kind of a diagnosis or any, if you have an injury and you need to see a physical therapist, please go and see that physical therapist. This is for just maintenance when we're feeling healthy. This is not to get us well. But for me, it has worked, and for many people I know, when they roll on a regular basis, I can't stress that enough, on a regular basis, they do start to see results and just a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more range of motion, and it just kind of keeps you in better shape for those things that you do. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video and have a great day. Don't forget to like and share. Thanks.